whenever I set out to write a novel, I think about what point of view best serves the story rather than what point of view do I like writing the most in. So, for example, I have a lot of students who say that, oh, I write in first person point of view because I like that the most. And I feel most comfortable in first person point of view. But that's not a good answer, in my opinion. You know, it has to be what's best for the story, and sometimes first person is not best for the story. So when I'm thinking about the stories I want to write, I think about what's the best point of view? Do I need multiple points of view? And if so, why?
Nothing's going to turn a reader off more than if they open the page and they're just like, hang on a second, like this isn't what someone would actually do. You're asking me to suspend my disbelief too much. You know, it's sort of like with coincidences in a novel. I always sort of say you can kind of get away with one if you really, really need to, but ideally you don't want to have just, you know, kind of too many coincidences that the plot is sort of turning on, because it can feel lazy.
I often think a really useful phrase for that is one thing leads to another. So it's kind of like, again, to go back to like killing someone, that can happen just out of nowhere, but again, we need to understand why, kind of what in that moment, you know, happened. But quite often it's, you know, something bad happens and something worse happens, and it sort of builds, doesn't it, from there. And I think that's another way of creating that suspension of disbelief, in that we can see that I could be in that situation, because if I'd started there and then this happened and this happened and this happened, I'm not saying I would do that, but I can understand why that character did that thing that they did.
One thing that I'm always urging the writers that I speak to consider is you've got to think about your protagonist's motivations, but it's also almost equally important to make sure that your villain has kind of clear motivations as well, because otherwise they might just feel like a bit of a caricature, just kind of running around doing evil things for no real reason. And again, that just feels kind of harder to invest in. It's really making sure that the motivations are clear to tie in with that plausibility.
We talk about like the two pedals of like reading and writing, and when one of them, you know, when writing's feeling hard, often going back to reading is so useful. Like, even if it's actually like not even your genre, not a comp title. I think whenever I've got like a sticky problem with an edit or something where I'm thinking, oh, how does this work in a really great book? Like how should great dialogue be written? Going to books that you love and looking at those specific problems. So if it is like, okay, I don't quite know how to do this end to my book, then go and read some really great books like that you already know you love, and really focus on the ending and think, how did they like work out that character dilemma and give us a really satisfying arc. And when you, even if it's a book you've read before, I think when you come to a book with a really clear question in your head, you will have a totally different experience of that book, and you'll learn a lot. The best way to learn writing is by reading.
Write down lines of text that you were drawn to. Examine why these lines worked. Also note down elements that didn't work for you and why. So sometimes when I read a really beautiful line in a book, or one that just really grabbed me or really summarized something in a wonderful way, I'll just note it down in my notes app. I've got this list of all these other writers' brilliant lines in my phone, just because then I can look back and think, oh yeah, that was a beautiful. I'm not copying, by the way. I am just using them as inspiration, because that was a really beautiful way of putting things, and it really did stand out. And also then that can kind of trigger new ideas for me. So write down the lines that you were drawn to and examine why they work. Is it the prose? Is it encapsulating something? Is it because it really helped figure something out in the scene? It could be a number of things, so just you have a look and examine that. When reading books that you don't enjoy, note down what you aren't enjoying about them and why. I think this is just as important as noting down the things that you like, rather than just thinking, oh God, this is awful writing, which I know we can all do, especially when we're feeling down and we're reading something and we're thinking, what, this got published and I can't get published. But if you could look at that with an objective view and think, well, why was this published? What is it that, or why has this got away with it? Why is it not working for me? What is it, like, stopping the flow of the writing? Is it poorly worded? Is it too on the nose? Is it not allowing you to figure something out yourself? Is it showing rather than telling you? Noting those things down is also really useful.